Good morning, students. I am here to discuss the first chapter of your SST book. The title of the chapter is The Northern Mountains. As it is a virtual class, so I will try to make you understand this chapter by describing line by line with some visual effects. Therefore, you have to pay proper attention while watching the video. Come to the first paragraph of this chapter. At the top of our country are located the northern mountains. When you see the physical map of country, you will find various ranges of mountains. Among those, here in this chapter, you will know about two major ranges, that is Himalayan range and Karakoram range. So, the Karakoram ranges lie to the northwest of the Himalayas. The second highest peak in the world, Mount Godwin Austen, also called the K2, lies in this region. The highest peak of the world is Mount Everest. I think the highest peak of the world is the Mount Everest, and the second highest peak of the world is Mount Godwin Austen. It is also called K2, lies in this region. In which range? In Karakoram range. Okay, next, the Himalayas lie in the south of the Karakoram range. If we see vertically the map of the India, we will find the Himalayas are below the Karakoram range. In geographical term, it is south of the Karakoram range. In India, the Himalayas extend from Kashmir in the west, to Arunachal Pradesh in the east. Okay, what is the extension of Himalayas in India? It is Kashmir in the west to Arunachal Pradesh in the east, forming a huge wall along the northern boundary. If you will see, you will find that it's these mountains are like wall. These mountains are like wall in our northern part of the country, and they act as barrier against the cold winds from the north, thus making life comfortable in the plains. This barrier, this wall of mountains, acts as a barrier to enter the cold winds from the north. That's why the life in the southern part of the Himalayas is comfortable. Okay, now there are some lists of highest peaks of these ranges. Okay, you have to keep in mind, you have to learn for general knowledge purpose. Name like Mount Everest, it is 8,848 meter high. It is the highest peak of the world. The next one, the second highest peak, is the Godwin Austen, Mount Godwin Austen. It's also known as K2. Its height is 8,611. Next, Kanchenjunga. Its height is 8,598. Makalu. Its height is 8,481. Next, Dhaulagiri. Its height is 8,172. Next, Annapurna. Its height is 8091. Nanga Parvat, its height is 8125 meter. Nanda Devi, its height is 7817 meter. Next, come to the Himalayan range. Come to the Himalayan range. You know that Himalayas and the Himalayas, it's ranges of mountainous ranges, and in these ranges there are various highest peaks. Okay, now the word Himalayas means abode of snow. Abode of snow. In Hindi, Himalaya. In Hindi, Himalaya. Him plus alay. Him means ice, snow. Him means snow, ice, we can say, and alay means home. Okay, Himalaya. Adobe means home. The word Himalayas means abode of snow. You know, in Hindi, Himalaya, him jor alay means him means snow, alay means home. Okay, that's why Himalayas means abode of snow. As a large part of these mountains is covered with snow throughout the year. Why Himalaya is called this abode of snow? Because its large part is covered with snow throughout the year. Okay, the Himalayan range consists of some of the highest peaks in the world. As I have told some names of highest peak like Kanchenjunga, Makalu, Dhaulagiri, Annapurna, Nanga Parvat, Nanda Devi. These are the some highest peaks of the Himalayas. Now, if you see the Himalayan range properly, you will find there are 3 parallel ranges in Himalayan range. If you see the Himalayan range, you will find that there are 3 parallel ranges of mountains. These parallel ranges are: number 1, the Greater Himalayas. Number 1, the Greater Himalayas. It is also known as Himadri. Okay, and the next, the Middle Himalayas. The southern part of the Greater Himalayas is Middle Himalayas. It is also known as Himachal. Okay, and the third range is Outer Himalayas, also known as Shivalik. So, dear students, you have to keep in mind Himalayan ranges have 3 parallel ranges: the 1, the Greater Himalayas; 2, the Middle Himalayas; and 3, the Outer Himalayas. Now, learn something Greater Himalayas. Now, we are going to know something Greater Himalayas. The Greater Himalayan range is the northernmost and the highest range of the Himalayas. It is the northernmost. If you see vertically, you will find at the top of the Himalayan range is the Greater Himalayan range, and in the geographical term, it is the northernmost, and it is also the highest range of the Himalayas. It is also the highest range of Himalayas. The peak of this range are always covered with snow, as it is the highest range of the Himalayas. That's why the peaks of this range are always covered with snow. On mountains, if we go upward, okay, in mountains, if we go upward, you will find the availability, the presence of snow is becoming larger. Okay, therefore they give rise to a number of glaciers. Glaciers means a number of glaciers are found in this range. In which range? The Greater Himalayas range. Okay, glaciers are what are glaciers? Listen, glaciers are slow moving rivers of ice. Now, see the image of rivers, as you are well known to the rivers of water, Now imagine what type of these glaciers would be, means slow moving rivers of ice. In that glaciers, ice is prevalent, and you know that many rivers is originated from the from these glaciers. So several rivers such as Ganga, Indus and Yamuna originate from these glaciers. Okay, you will find that some rivers has water throughout the year. Why? They get water from that glaciers. They get water from that glaciers. Okay, when glaciers melt and it give water to those rivers. Okay, the rivers Ganga and Yamuna originate from the Gangotri and Yamunotri glaciers, and there are many glaciers are there in Greater Himalayan range. So each and every glacier has its name, like Ganga is originated from Gangotri glacier, and river Yamuna is originated from Yamunotri glaciers. Okay, now come to the middle Himalayan range. It will come to the next to the Greater Himalayan. So you at the top there is Greater Himalayan range, and below that the middle Himalayan range is situated south of the Greater Himalayan. Means below the Greater Himalayan. Though the peaks of this range are not as high as those of the Greater Himalayas. Sometime before I told you that the Greater Himalayan range is the highest range of the Himalayas. Okay, that's why middle Himalayan range is not as high as the Greater Himalayas. Despite some of them are still covered with snow. Okay, after that there are some peaks which is covered with snow. Okay, this range consists of forests, covered mountains and fertile valleys. Okay, this range, which range? Middle Himalayan range consists of forest covered mountains and fertile valleys. Okay, fertile valleys means where some types of agriculture practices are being done. Okay, fertile valleys. A valley, what is valley? A valley is a low lying area between two hills or mountains. A valley is a low lying area between two hills or mountains. I will show you the valleys in the picture after this slide. Some of the major valleys of the middle Himalayan range are Kangra and Nainital. Two valleys are major valleys of this range, middle Himalayan range. One is Kangra and other is Nainital. There are many beautiful hill stations in the middle Himalayan ranges like Mussoorie, Simla, Kullu and Manali. These hill stations, we usually in summer season we would like to visit hill stations, because during summer seasons that very place remains cool. That's why we would like to go to hill stations, and there are many famous hill stations, beautiful hill stations are there in middle Himalayan range like Mussoorie, Simla, Kullu and Manali. Okay, now third range of the Himalayan range is the outer Himalayan range. The third range of the Himalayan range is the outer Himalayan range. Okay, it is the southernmost range of the Himalayas. If we saw vertically, you will find that it is the lowest, it is the means we can say that the bottom of the Himalayan range you will find. So that's why we can say that it is the southernmost range of the Himalaya. It is also the lowest range of the Himalayas. Highest range of the Himalayas is the Greater Himalayan range, and the lowest range of the Himalayan range is the Outer Himalayan range. Okay, one thing I would like to make you clear over here, when you go upward, okay, when you go upward in the map, you go to the north, we can say that you are going to the north, and when you come down to the map, means you are coming southward to the southward in the map. Now come to the next topic, that is the rivers and passes in the northern mountains. Rivers and passes in the northern mountains. Sometimes before I already mentioned that there are some major rivers, that originate in the northern mountains include like Ganga from Gangotri, just told you, Ganga from Gangotri, Yamuna, Brahmaputra, Indus, Satluj and Ghagra. These are the some rivers, major rivers. There are a big lists of rivers originated from the Himalayan range. There are, but I am telling you the names of some major rivers like Ganga, okay, Yamuna, Brahmaputra, Indus, Satluj and Ghagra. These are the rivers which originate from the northern mountains, okay, means Himalayan range. Okay, now what are passes? Passes are routes. Passes are routes through a mountain range, means to cross a mountains. To cross a mountains, we usually will try to find the lowest part of the mountains through which we can pass, we can cross the mountains. Those lowest route through which one could pass the mountain, that very route is called pass. People use passes to cross a mountain. Okay, some of the important passes in the northern mountains are, look at the name of the passes: Jojila, Changla, Sipkila, Nathula, Khardungla, Baralachala, Rohtangla Pass. These are the names of some important passes in northern mountains. And what are the passes? Passes are the lowest part of the mountainous range through which one could pass, one could cross the mountains. That very lowest part, that very route is routes are called passes. The word la means pass. The word la means pass. You will find that there are la at the end of the all the names of passes, like Joji La, Chang La, Sipki La, Nathula. La means pass. The highest motorable road in the world is at Khardung La, okay, at the height of 18,380 meter, 18,380 meter. It is the highest motorable road. Means in that very road, vehicles or other types of vans passes by that road. And the Khardung La is the highest motorable road. Means in that very road, trucks, buses, vans, vehicles are passes. Now we are going to know about the climate of the northern mountainous range. Now we will try to know about the climate. What types of climate are found in that region? Okay, see, the northern mountains have a major effect on the climate of our country. The northern mountains have a major effect on the climate of our country. Okay, you will see, you will notice that in China, in China, uh, there is a cold weather throughout the year. There is a cold weather throughout the year, but in our India, in the northern part of the India, we have all the three seasons because of mountain, because of northern mountains. Okay, the northern mountains have a major effect on the climate of our country. They form a barrier for the monsoon wind. They form a barrier for the monsoon wind. You know, monsoon, it usually come in the second or third week of June. Usually you had learned, I think, you had listened this word monsoon. Actually, for getting for getting rain in our northern part of northern part of country, the northern mountains plays an important role. How this mountain range play an important role? Because this this mountainous range act as a barrier for monsoon wind, so that in the northern part of country we get rainfall. Okay, if there will no mountainous range in the northern part of the country, then and that in that condition, what would happen? The mountainous the monsoon winds passes to the China. We don't, in that case we we could not get rainfall. So this is very important for getting monsoon rainfall in our northern part of the country. They also cause heavy snowfall in some of the states located in this region. Okay, snowfalls is also occurs due to the northern mountains. The region in the greater Himalayas witness extreme cold because it is the highest range of the Himalayan range. During winter, the temperature dips below the freezing point, like Leh, Ladakh. Okay, these places are at the top of, at the peak of the greater Himalayan range, and in that place, in winter season, the temperature dips below the freezing point. And you know the what is the temperature, what is the freezing point of water? It is 0 degree Celsius. It is 0 degree Celsius. And during winter season, sometimes the temperature of that place, the temperature of that place becomes less than 0 degree C. Now now see the climate of the middle Himalayas, means middle Himalayas range. The middle Himalayas have a summer temperature of around 17 degrees C. In the summer season, the temperature of the middle Himalayas is around 17 degree C. People visit the valleys and hill stations during summer for pleasant weather. As we compare to the lowland, or we can say that plains of the India, at that time there is 30 degrees C, 34 degrees C. At that time in the middle Himalayas, you will get there 70 degrees C temperature, Celsius temperature. That's why we would like to visit that place in summer season. Okay, now see the third range of the Himalayan range, that is the Shivalik. Shivalik are at height of 1250 meter above sea level. Okay, 1250 meter above sea level. These mountains are not very cold, but they get heavy rainfall. In the height of the Shivalik range is 1250 meter. That's why it is not very cold. That's why these mountains or this range is not very cold, but they get heavy rainfall. Now we see the wildlife. Now we will see the wildlife of the northern mountains. Okay, what types of animals are found in that region? See, yaks, goats, snow leopards, musk deer, and wild sheep are some of the wildlife of the northern mountains. Okay, yaks, goats, snow leopards, musk deer, and wild sheep are some of the wildlife of the wildlife means wild animals of the northern mountains. The forests in the middle Himalayan range have tigers. Okay, in the middle Himalayan, yaks, goats, snow leopards, musk deer, and wild sheep are the wildlife of which region? Which range? Greater Himalayan range. In the middle Himalayan range, you will find tigers, leopards, rhinoceros, and many varieties of deer. Okay, and in the forests of outer Himalayan range have hyena, jackals, elephants, and tigers. Okay, there are many national parks and wildlife sanctuaries in the northern mountains. There are many national parks for conserving uh, natural vegetations. Okay, and wildlife sanctuaries for protecting or preserving wildlife means wild animals in the northern mountains. Some of them are Jim Corbett National Park and Rajaji National Park. Okay, there are two names of Jim Corbett National Park and Rajaji National Park. These are the national park to protect national vegetations and wildlife. Okay, now come to the vegetation. Now next term is vegetations. What is vegetations? Means types of plants, trees. What types of plants and trees are found in these northern mountains? Okay, trees and plants are called vegetations. There is sparse vegetations. There is sparse vegetation in the greater Himalayas. There is sparse vegetation in the greater Himalayas. These include shrubs, shrubs, mosses, lichens, and wild flowers like blue poppies and edelweiss. Okay, these are the natural vegetation of greater Himalayas. What? Shrubs, mosses, lichens, wildflowers like blue poppies and edelweiss. The next, the natural vegetation of the middle Himalayas. Natural vegetation of middle Himalayas consists of pine, oak, poplar, walnut, spruce, fir, cypress, juniper, and birch. This region has many orchards of apples, plums, peaches, pears, cherries, and almonds. Okay, now next, the forest area of the Tarai region means outer Himalayas. Tarai region means outer Himalayas have been cleared to grow crops such as rice, sugarcane, and wheat. As outer Himalayas is little bit flat, that's why the forests, the natural vegetations of this region have been cleared to grow crops like wheat, rice, sugarcane. Okay, the vegetation of this region consists of trees like kikar, sal, teak, and babool. Okay, trees like kikar, sal, teak, and babool are natural vegetation of outer Himalayas. Okay, the slopes of these mountains are used for agricultural purpose. This type of farming is called terrace farming. This we usually see the agriculture in our locality. There is a flat field, but in mountainous range it's a slight. So there is a special type of farming is done at that place, and that type of farming is called terrace farming. That type of farming is called terrace farming. In this video, we have discussed various things regarding northern mountains, like we have discussed about Karakoram ranges, Himalayan ranges, and its parallel ranges like the greater Himalayas, the middle Himalayas, and the outer Himalayas. Next we have discussed rivers and passes in the northern mountains, climate of the northern mountains, wildlife of the northern mountains, and the vegetation of the northern mountains. That is for today. In the next video we will discuss the life in the northern mountains. There are there are many states, our states in that region, like Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Sikkim, West Bengal, and seven sisters of our country. These are the name of the states. We will discuss in our next video. Till then, thank you. Have a nice day.